Okay. So today, I wanted to introduce the viewers to Sharon.
Hi, everyone.
Sharon has a story to share with us because, as you know, the channel is about things we face and we overcome.
Yes.
Or we learn from, and maybe sometimes we don't overcome. But it's to help people going through big stuff, whatever that is. And what's big to them could be small to me, and what's big to me could be small to them. So no judgment.
Okay.
But it's important to share because we learn from each other. Because, you know, somebody sees you in the mall, they go, wow, she's got it all together. She's got the good looks. We know she's going to university. Wow, I wish I could be like her. But you've had your own stuff. And so, like the rest of us, welcome to being human, having stuff.
Yes.
Because nobody's perfect.
That's right.
And so, this channel is about sharing stories about issues faced and challenged and what we overcome and what are we working on. And it's all about whatever you're comfortable to share with.
Okay.
Because this lady bravely said yes and didn't ask me, what will you ask me?
Really?
We're not going to ask her for her phone number. And sorry, viewers, you're not going to have it.
That's too funny. I love to laugh. You know that.
I know, and that's one of the reasons why I like to know you, because smart, hardworking, and a sense of humor. A great thing to have in friends and acquaintances.
Yes.
So tell us a little about what are you up to these days?
These days? I think, well, I'm 32 going on 33.
Oh,
So-
we got personal information.
Yay.
I thought she was younger.
I have to thank my parents for the good genes.
What brand? Oh, wrong type of jeans. Okay.
Well, it's a lot of my friends, they're married and having kids, you know, motherhood. And I feel like I have my own version with my two big babies, my grandparents.
Right.
So a lot of the things that we talk about, I think, yeah, I can relate to that. You know, you have no time, no sleep. Suddenly you have all these things on your plate. And it's like, okay, well, how do you balance it all? You know?
Right.
You know, when I share with people, I look after my grandparents, I care for them. They're shocked. I guess maybe it's the culture here in North America. Maybe it's a little bit different, but in other cultures abroad, it's sort of expected. The reverence for elders, you care for your parents and your grandparents
When required.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. So, but you also have been going to school
Yeah.
for a degree in numbers.
Yeah, that was funny.
Not statistics, not
Yeah.
sales, but accounting.
Yeah, and that's funny though.
Why is it funny?
Because every time I take these personality tests, I rate high on orange, blue.
Which is adventuresome,
Yes.
risk-taking,
Yes.
new ways of thinking. And blue is about building relationships with friends. So blues think that strangers are friends they haven't made yet.
Yes. You
And
say
it's
hi to everybody.
Funny, that's one of my traits. That's why we met when I was giving that seminar. It's like, oh, she gets this piece immediately because that's who she is in a big piece.
Yes, yes.
So, so you rate high in these other things. Well, but perhaps you want to be a certified management accountant, which are numbers and people, as opposed to specializing in just numbers.
Maybe. I don't know. You know, it's it's good. Okay.
So hello, today we have Sharon who's going to share some things she's been going through, because the theme of the channel is life's lessons, life's challenges. How do we be more resilient when we're going through tough times? Sharon recently shared publicly that she's got some big stuff she's doing to help her grandparents. I respect that and I really admire her for it.
Oh.
So whether we have a 3-minute conversation or a 3-hour conversation, we'll find that out as this conversation unfolds.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you here. Thank you. So Sharon, let's go back a little bit. We met at a seminar I was giving on communication styles and personalities, and
Yes.
you were in the audience and we were chatting, and it was like, wow, poor woman, she's just like me.
Oh my God.
Truth?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've both been told we're just a tiny outgoing,
Yes.
or a lot,
Yes.
and that strangers are friends I haven't made yet.
Yeah, we'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Don't think we're crazy.
You know, everybody friends. I'm the guy on the internet that people say, you have how many connections? I go, well, who am I to tell that young entrepreneur in India, in Mumbai, that we shouldn't connect? Because we have a mutual connection in Saudi Arabia. And he wants to go work in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Okay, sure, we'll connect. There, now you can talk to the guy in France who knows the financial people in Abu Dhabi. You have that project you want to pitch.
Wow, so you never know.
No, so life's too short. So it was fun to connect with you because every few months we say hello, and today's one of those every few months.
You know, now that you mention that, it reminds me of an interview I had years ago. When I got hired for the job, and then months into the job, my colleagues told me what they first thought of me. And I said, yeah, well, when we saw you come in for the interview, we thought you were on drugs. We thought you were smoking something.
I'm not laughing at you. I had a client years ago that said, you're too happy, you have too much energy, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And my response was, well, I've had 2 battles with cancer. I've faced dying 3 times due to I had also had a failed surgery once.
Oh,
so I got rushed to OR at 23 to 12. I'll never forget. It was 23 minutes left on my birthday. So I had the staff in OR sing happy birthday to me because I said, I've done the counting back from 100 to 99. Well, they put the anesthetic on. I want to do this differently. I promise you, I'll suck in real deep on 199. So I won't get to 95, but you're going to sing happy birthday to me. So they did.
Yeah,
So I wasn't sure I was going to live for 3 more days because I was really ill. I had a failed surgical procedure, and so anyways. So like you, though, since then, people have said too happy, too perky, too much energy.
Too bubbly. Yeah.
I always tease that I have 12 wild horses in me. 10 are well-tamed. 1 semi-tamed, but on occasion surprises me because they go right over here and take the whole 12 with them. And 1's still out there wandering around, and I can't get the saddle on him to tame him, so I just accept them.
I think it's the adversities that we go through that build that much.
Well, I think that's partly personality, but I think it's also partly an appreciation for life.
Yeah.
You know? I was fortunate to have 2 awesome parents and a great upbringing, but I had a concussion as a 6-year-old.
Oh my God.
And that for a couple days I faded in and out of consciousness. And then my bowel disease at 17, and I got robbed by a motorcycle gang at 18 at the gas station. Luckily, there was no real injuries there physically, but I learned about post-traumatic stress from that.
Really? Much before it ever...
I didn't know what it was called. I just knew that I kept that tall white guys with big muscles scared the crap out of me. And that took about 4 or 5 years to get over.
Wow.
Because when you're at the mall, years later, and a big tall guy with big muscles and a torn off t-shirt, looking somewhat like the guy that robbed you, and you find that you don't know what happened, and 10 minutes later you're in the middle of the parking lot, and you ran like the wind, and you go, what happened? Why am I in the middle of the parking lot? I was at a store grand opening sale. How'd I get here?
Okay.
And then the friend you were with said, well, the big guy bumped into us. He almost fell over because he got jostled, and he wasn't being offensive. He was just like the rest of us. We were going in for the door crasher sale. But I obviously panicked. Well, we could say an anxiety attack, a panic attack. But it was only very specifically tall white guys with shaggy blonde hair that made me have them. So I only had 3 or 4 of them after the robbery, but 4 years, 5 years, 8 years later, it was like, that's it. This isn't going to happen anymore. That was then, this is now. And I started practicing, imagining tall white guys bumping into me. But luckily it was only one traumatic event, so then I could practice my visualization and relaxation skills, my meditation skills, and then I imagined bumping into him gently. No, I imagined seeing him, getting close to him, gently shoulder bumps, although this guy was tall, so it was sort of a shoulder bump and an elbow bump. His elbow, my shoulder. And then over time it was like, well, that's not going to happen anymore. And if it does, okay, but I don't think it's ever going to happen anymore.
Wow.
So years later, I had a traffic incident where somebody got mad that I didn't run a red light because he was in a hurry, and he punched my window out. So I just looked up, said no. The light changed. He was throwing another punch, grabbed his fist, just tapped the gas to pull him off balance, and then I just drove away safely.
That's good.
Yes, he didn't get hurt.
That's good.
Some would say after punching my window out, he deserved to, but he's just a big lump with an attitude possibly on something unique.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Anyways.
Okay.
So you have had the courage to take on the mantle of caring
For a family member. Oh, 2.
2, right?
Almost 3.
Yeah, because grandma needs help.
Yes.
Yes. So it's important that people realize the parameters of what that means. It means you're on call for laundry. It
Yep.
means you're on call for caring because
Yep.
grandpa's got some illness issues and mobility is partly an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Medical care appointments.
Yes.
Your schedule's pretty hectic.
Yes. I chose it.
Yeah, wow, but you chose it. So,
That's the
so
oh my God.
one of the
yes.
skills to be resilient is called reframing.
Okay.
So you could frame this as I'm trapped. These old people are crowding my life.
Oh.
No, I said you could.
Yeah.
I didn't say you do. I am challenged. I am burdened. But what I hear you saying is you've reframed this, or you've framed this as, oh, these two people love me and I love them. Before we got started, Sharon shared how they helped care for her when she was young. So this is just returning the love full circle.
Yeah, it's interesting that way. I think that there are a law in the universe that nothing ever gets lost. It's just, what is that law?
I don't know. What, the law of circularity, the law of what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
You got loved
Yeah.
in a way that was so wonderful that you want to give it back to them when they need you. It's pretty amazing.
I hear you. Okay, that's a good way of looking at it.
So I would say that the key lesson for people who are coming to this channel looking for ideas on being resilient is that it's about framing and reframing. You chose to, right up front, frame it in a healthy, engaging manner.
Yes.
That I'm here to love them back just as much as they love me.
Yes.
And I'm going to love them.
Yes.
Even on days when I'm weary.
Yeah.
Is that polite?
But that's a great application for any type of relationship.
Of course,
It gets real good that you brought it up.
Yes, but there's got to be some, and this might be too personal. So
Oh, it's okay. Okay, we'll see.
Well,
how it goes.
just us and a few thousand people, you know.
Hi. Okay.
Our busiest was 35,000 views, so just to let you know.
Okay, that's
So,
good.
but then there's boundaries and expectations because you know off camera you shared that Grandpa's thinking isn't as clear as it used to be.
Yeah.
So he might think you're on call 7, 24, 365, and you don't look like a lean, keen machine. So you do need your own sleep.
Yes.
You do need your own nutrition, and you do need a little social time because it's not healthy to stay 7, 24, 365.
No, it's not.
So,
I have to say, yeah.
so today's part of her social time.
Yay!
What a wonderful gift she gave up to spend time with us. We'll get her to think about that later, whether it was worth the investment.
Okay.
So I think that's a powerful gift that you give them, but you give yourself, because that ties into the old saying, it's easy when I want to and hard if I have to.
Yes.
And so they would know if you were there because you thought you had to.
Yeah.
So what do you do to put up boundaries and expectations? Not necessarily with them because they might not be in a position to understand. But what do you do for you for boundaries and expectations?
Like time? Like
Yeah, you know, do you call on family members? Do you call on outside agencies? Do you call on the universe?
Oh, well, okay. Well, I mean, it is let's see. So there's myself and my aunt. We're there. So we share the responsibilities.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's not 100% you all the time.
No.
This isn't the 100% Sharon. Oh, there's a little alliteration in there.
Okay. It's good that we brought that up. Because it's like, but she, I don't know if I can say that on camera.
It's okay. But, well, we all have our challenges and struggles, so yes, so we don't have to say that on camera.
Okay. Well, okay. And, well, my grandmother is good because she's so calm. And she'll ask. She's like, well, can we do this on this day? And I said, well, yeah, that sounds good. And she'll always ask in advance. I think she's a gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gold, like structure,
Yeah.
are very loyal in the personality profile we're discussing. And so gold is a powerful thing to have in your life. Because I worked with an ex-military man who said proper prior planning promotes peak performance.
Oh.
Let's see, proper prior practice promotes peak performance. There's a multitude of versions. If you wish, I'll send them to you because I like it. Because the more gold I am, the more I get to be me, orange and blue.
Oh.
By having some plans, orange and blue,
It frees up.
it frees up.
Yes.
No plans, ouch. So boundaries and expectations. So grandma is very good at not invading those. She asks in advance because she's got clarity. So, So that's good. So that's very, very good. That makes life much easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
It also means that when she asks, though,
Mm-hmm.
it must feel like, woo, this is grandma here. And she doesn't do this lightly, so
Yeah.
sometimes you have to change your plans if grandma asks them that. Am I reading between the lines right?
Yeah, but now I learned that sometimes it's okay to say no.
Ah,
That's one of the things I had to learn.
sure. Well, that, again, boundaries and part of being resilient is having our boundaries and expectations defined.
You know, so.
I mean, I see it in dealing with my illness groups, is that some people really want a hug of reassurance that they're on the right track. Other people going through illness issues and body issues.
Yes.
I've had a lot of surgery in the abdomen, so hugs at one point, But could I have a sideways hug, please? Because I really wanted some human contact.
Yes.
But hugs, don't touch me. I'm scared. I'm feeling very vulnerable. So it depends on the individual. So good for you to I know, respectfully say, no, not right now. But you have to have a sense of self because you can get lost in the caring.
Yeah.
I know
so.
a
Even
lady who
parents
cared for
do.
her man for 30 years. And in the last 2 years, after 28 years of being on call, 7 and 24,
Wow.
she said, I said, no. I don't care if you want an ice cream cone and it's good for your diet at 3 in the morning.
What?
You got your water, you got your juice in the juice pack, and you got your other fluids you're allowed to drink on your diet. I don't want you to wake me up at 3 in the morning for those sorts of requests anymore. I can't do it. Because she's also 30 years older.
Okay.
You know, this is, we're not 30-year-olds taking care of 30-year-olds now. We're 60-year-olds taking care of 60-year-olds, and I'm not getting my sleep like I used to. I have to say her words, I have new rules of engagement, dear. He got quite angry because he was so ill. There's a thing called hospital personality syndrome,
Oh, okay.
which I learned from because one of my hospital friends, I teach the hospital I was in so often that they should offer a frequent Stitcher point card. Like frequent flyers, it's a loyalty program card. So many points for a stitch, so many points for a clip, so many points for every hour in OR, and I teased her that I would have qualified for the facelift, the tummy tuck, and maybe a little liposuction because I had so many hours on the table. I was in 5 times for tune-ups, as I call them.
My.
I like to reframe my way. I didn't go in for life-saving cancer surgery. I went in for a tune-up.
That's a good, okay.
And so that's my way of reframing. Because, I respect what the doctors do, but talking to everybody about cancer, it's such a heavy topic for everybody. But you won't see me for a few weeks. I'm going in for another medical tune-up. Oh, really? Are you okay? And then that led the conversation in a positive direction.
That's nice.
That I got another fight to fight, but
I've
been working out.
Let's see those biceps. Show them on camera.
The pipes are pretty tiny, but they're lots of fun. No, but I mean, I used to mentally work out before I went into the hospital. So I had theme songs and theme music and poetry and prose, and I would put myself on a regime.
Okay.
Because I knew that I was going to be mentally, physically, emotionally challenged to have another 5-6 hour surgery. So I would work out. Not very physically, a little bit, but it was mental, emotional workouts.
Okay, good.
So, the arms got a little stronger, but I usually wasn't healthy enough to exercise.
Okay.
So I hear you talking about boundaries and expectations with your grandparents, which is really vital. You've got another relative that's helping, and like the rest of us, they got their stuff too.
Yes.
And so, us humans all have stuff.
Yes.
Sometimes we're lucky it's little stuff. Sometimes it's intermediate or big stuff.
Yes.
I mean, I have a relative that has stuff, and according to them, they have no stuff. And yet, nobody will visit you. Still haven't dealt with your anger. They're never going to watch this. So, I love them. I don't have to like them.
I'm glad that you brought it up.
Because, it's important because I can respect and love my relatives and my friends, but I don't have to like all of them. And so over time, sometimes their behavior means that we have our boundaries, and so they have to gently, as long as I can help make sure they're safe, they fade away because I cannot answer the phone at 3 in the morning because you want to have an angry rant.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's what I'm also going through that right now with a family member. With all the mental health that's coming up right now, and I'm trying to think, well, how do I cope with a relative that will not acknowledge or is in denial?
And that's that old phrase, it's not just a river in Africa, is so true, denial. Well, I have my angry relative. They're past 80. I love them to bits.
Mm-hmm.
When I was little, feed me,
Mm-hmm.
make sure I had awesome clothes once a year on my birthday or at Christmas or both.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, nasty about everybody. If they were a TV station, their tagline is all nasty, all the time to everybody.
Ooh.
Cue the echo chamber, everybody, everybody, everybody. And I refuse to tolerate it. I am not going to take you out and have you make nasty comments about everybody you see.
Oh.
Sexist, racist, ageist, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, your mother didn't raise you to be that way. My family doesn't act that way, and I love you, but... And won't go to the doctor to talk about it because it's none of their business.
Yes. I don't know.
So I go back to boundaries. Part of being resilient is boundaries and expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping them safe, but not letting them steamroll you.
Yes. So that's like, okay, yeah, so I've got these two things going on right now.
Count them, two big ones.
Yeah.
So, but you've had the courage to put school on hold to keep
Mhm.
grandparents safe and
Yeah.
healthy to the best of your abilities. So that's some juggling.
Yes.
You've learned how to say no when it doesn't matter to their safety
Mm-hmm.
and immediate things.
Yes.
That's big. Some of us don't learn that for a long time, and you
Say
and, you
no?
and you got it before 40.
Yeah.
Oh, I know people who say no too much, and they started saying no at an early age.
Mhm.
So then people say, well, you never reciprocate, you're never available. So
Mhm.
that hurts them by not being available.
So
There's a
yeah.
balance there. And
Yeah.
that's what I hear you saying that you've been learning as you juggle the roles of being
It's
care,
hard.
care provider for grandparents.
Yes, and also dealing with the second one. I
Mhm.
think the first one that was my grandparents, it's okay.
Yes.
The second one, I think I'm learning how. I'm
Yes.
trying to learn how to deal.
Well, mental health issues are more of a challenge. I have a good acquaintance who's a genius. However,
Very intelligent person.
all anger, all the time. They never make mistakes. They never miscommunicate. It's
Oh.
always me, stupid. So,
Oh.
I've told them that if you do that again, there'll be an
Mhm.
intervention. Maybe even a SWAT team at your door. If you're going to threaten me at that level,
Mm-hmm.
you've had the warning. Metaphors only, no physical.
Mhm.
You've had the shot across the bow, which in the old days meant stop your ship,
Mm-hmm.
or we'll board you,
Mm-hmm.
or we'll sink you. So we give them the verbal,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, according to them, they've done nothing wrong. It's like, well, I've kept the emails. A lot of anger and hostility there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very frustrating. And so it's about boundaries and expectations and saying, well, I want you to be safe and happy, and you're obviously not happy. And that amount of unhappy makes me wonder whether you're safe. Well, it was none of my beep business, and so you have your own challenges in that category. Am I correct? Did I hear right?
Yes.
So it's being respectful
Mm-hmm.
and delicate, and yet because mental health is so personal,
Mm-hmm.
it's keeping them safe and not being steamrolled, because those 3 o'clock in the morning screaming calls,
Mm-hmm.
well, they were off their meds, or in my case, they were on their alcohol
Oh.
without their meds, or with double meds at one point. They were
Double?
double doctoring. Oh yeah, they had some feel-good meds.
Oh, okay.
So they had
I
two,
gotcha.
they were taking double dosing, because they had 2 doctors they were seeing
Oh.
instead of 1.
Okay, I gotcha.
And going to different pharmacists so they didn't get caught. Plus they were drinking. So
Oh.
people say, well, you share awfully private stuff. I said, we're never going to break our cycles of unhealthy behavior unless we start to share.
Yes.
And part of being resilient is that we have our privacy, but we release our secrets. Secrets are unhealthy. Secrets are putting us in danger or someone else in danger. That's how I describe it.
I have to agree.
And so I screwed up. I recently had a man on the subway who was telling us all that he was going to kill us one day soon, and that you're all cowards and you're all just working for the man.
Okay.
And I got up close and I said hello, and he wouldn't talk. I took his picture and I wanted to report him, but I'm told I should have pushed the safety strip on the bus immediately.
Mm-hmm.
They said, because then we'll bring him in for evaluation and maybe we can keep him safe. I was trying to do the Canadian low-key, don't want to bother anybody, because I was on the subway, I wasn't on the bus, I'm underground. Maybe my claustrophobia stopped me from pushing the button.
You have the same issue too?
Because I
Oh.
don't like, I can do subway easily,
Yeah, me
because
too.
I just sit there and I stay calm. But with an agitated man who's threatening lives, in theory, I felt, well, I'll just take his picture to the local official and say, at the next stop, this guy, you should arrest him. I'll gladly go to the station then. No, it doesn't work that way. We don't have the manpower. It's like, well, it's after hours. There's only 45 of us there. And most of them are ladies coming off work at 11 at night. It was 11:30. They'd all been caregivers and nurses, and anyways, didn't happen. So I screwed up. So now having talked to two sets of officials, police and transit experts, they both said just push the strip. And we'll be very pleased that you did that, because people that are that agitated, they obviously need medication, they need professional help. But boy, it's tough. I felt, I thought, well, if he spit in the sidewalk, I wouldn't push the strip. If he stole a purse, I'd have certainly pushed the strip. And yet he was threatening lives, in theory, and I didn't push the strip. But I'm mad at myself now, because he needs help. And I think, Michael, if you really love everybody, you'd have pushed the strip.
Okay.
Anyways,
Forget.
Live and learn. Next time I'll push the strip so fast,
Okay.
everybody else will go, huh? And I did ask people to phone while I kept an eye on them, and nobody would phone. And I didn't want to phone in front of them because I thought it would agitate them.
Oh.
But I'm annoyed that 3 people I asked wouldn't phone. So it wasn't like I did nothing.
You were prepared.
I was trying to do and they said, no, people won't interfere, they won't want to phone, they don't want to get involved, which I was trying to keep him safe and not have him lose face, right? So that when we called emergency 911, I could stand there saying, and caring and nurturing for them as they have for you.
Yes.
They were a role model to you, right? How to love and nurture, and so now you're modeling that same behavior back to them as appropriate for their age and their condition. So that's a very powerful, powerful thing that people that are resilient do, is they find appropriate role models and figure out how to do that thing that the role model does that's important. And so for you it's come second nature because that was done with such generosity of spirit and with such love. But for others who are stuck in different places, it's why some people seek out mentors.
Yes.
Because it helps them figure out their process.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
So that's what I hear you say you're doing, is you're modeling back to them what they gave you.
Yeah, okay.
You didn't see it that way, and you're not doing it because of that on purpose, but you made a choice to stand by them and to nurture them and love them just as they did for you when you were vulnerable at a certain age.
Yeah, that is right. Yeah. I never thought of it that way, but okay.
No, well, you were doing the right thing, which is pretty impressive, so thank you. The taxpayers thank you too, because if you'd have just said, nah, I don't know these folks anymore. Well, it doesn't happen often, but it happens. Then the taxpayer would have to care and pay and right?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So there's many ways in society we should be thankful that you're making the place a better place.
Okay.
So another reason why I like to stay in touch, because I like and admire how you do what you do.
Okay, thank you.
You could be all out there going, my life is all about me and I'm glamorous.
No.
I tried that for 3 seconds when I was about 14, didn't work.
Well, yeah, now that you mention it, it's funny. Okay, when I was working, I would, I get up in the morning, I'm putting on my work clothes, and now I get up and I'm like in yoga pants now. Like, this is a change.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's a change. Okay, so what else?
So I would just, I wanted you to, you had sharing that you put your education and your career on hold to care for them, and that's a big thing, because people that are 20 years older than you are going to have that happen to them with their parents very soon, if not right now. And we have to make choices. Do we pause our career to care for our parents? Now, you said something off camera earlier that Grandpa could live 10, 20, 30 more years.
Yes, he could.
And so, oh my.
Yeah.
Will my career in life be on hold for 30 years, or will I, over time, make some other decisions, and we talked about boundaries and expectations, to keep them safe and loved and nurtured, but till you get on with your life too.
Yeah, that is a thought that comes in my head. Like, okay,
because you've helped them get stable and safe, big stuff, and now, and you don't have to share, but over time, next steps.
Well, I had a conversation with my grandmother sometimes, because I wouldn't want to like shock her, surprise her. Oh, yeah, by the way, tomorrow I'm starting this, or I'm moving to a new city to start a new job. Like we have the conversations like in my head. I think out of all the people in my family, she's the one who appreciates that I like to think ahead.
Well, that's respectful planning. You know, we talked earlier that in that personality profile, orange and blue are impulsive and connectors, and that's good. Not necessarily planners, but with maturity and wisdom, you're planning ahead and having conversations with her to keep her in the loop of what's going through your head and where you're at. So I see that as very important. And one of the things about resiliency is I like to talk about the 3 R's.
Oh, okay.
And that's your rights, their rights, spoken and unspoken.
Okay.
Your roles, caregiver, cared for,
Okay.
and rights, roles, and responsibilities.
Oh, okay. Right.
Because we all deserve respect. That's a responsibility and a right to offer and give, and how we accept. And then there's the roles we all play, because they're still caring for you by love. You know, can't buy that.
No.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, I was blessed with 4 great-grandparents. One was awfully quiet, but he'd been in a war. I think that's why he was so quiet, I suggest.
My grandfather's in the war, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
well,
it does. They carry
as
you.
a 10-year-old, I couldn't quite understand why he was so quiet.
Yeah.
He was the epitome of a man of few words, not a character flaw. He just
you.
lived through a war, you know.
They see,
So,
I have reference for the generation.
yeah, oh yeah, me too. And so it's important. So I see you as practicing what I call rights, roles, and responsibilities, in that you're working with them and talking to them and loving them and nurturing back and forth, but you're sharing some of these roles with your grandma about what's going on and how it's going on and next steps. And that is very powerful because you're giving her equality. You're not doing that, here's what's going on, Toots, and that's the way it is.
Oh, no.
No, of course not.
Because she's not like that.
No, well, you're not doing the down, up to down. You're doing the different but equal, because we're in different states of life and they need what you offer. And you have been lovingly received by them when you needed what they had to offer, love and respect and safety and nurturing. So you're practicing what I call the 3 R's, and you know, and that builds the boundaries and expectations that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, at first when I was doing that, she said, oh, don't worry about me, don't worry about us, just think about yourself.
It's not your style, it's not your belief system.
It's like, you were like that when I was a kid. It's like, I don't know. Back home in the Philippines, it's just different, I find. The mentalities that you think for each other, we think about each other as a group, as a community, we look out for each other. You know, that's what I was supposed to.
It's like that song, that's what friends are for. Well, that's what family's for too,
Yeah, so when she tells me that, like, oh, you think about yourself, I'm like, what? It's foreign to me now, because, yeah. So.
Sure, well, good for you. So it's good for you. So
she got used to it.
So, you know, you're talking to her about the future because that's important.
Yeah.
And it helps her feel safe that you're talking and sharing. You're not going to surprise her one day, say, oh, Grandma, I'm not here tomorrow. I'm gone.
No. Oh,
no. So that's about a lot of respect and a lot of dignity for all of you, so that there's a sense of safety, which I would suggest, knowingly or unknowingly, as your grandpa fades in and out a little.
Yeah, because I'm worried about that.
He will pick up on that. Even if he's not functioning rationally, he would emotionally pick up on the sense of safety in the household.
Yes.
And so by helping Grandma feel extra safe with your rational, intellectual communications, that he will pick up on it emotionally.
Yeah.
So I'd like to leave it there.
Okay.
And in a few months, maybe we'll pick this up again.
Okay.
To find out new things.
Okay, cool.
So thank you, Sharon, for sharing about resiliency.
Oh, let's do hugs. Like,
okay.
What is it? Okay, hugs.
So we'll come back and visit her in a few months to see what she's up to.
Okay.
Because she's done a lot of resiliency work and didn't even know it, but it's part of her heritage, her belief systems, your culture. You agree?
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, and it's good. Well, it's important. It's important that we practice it.
It's nice to shit, yeah.
But I've worked with people who, when I talk about rights, roles, responsibilities, never passed their brain, never thought about it once.
Oh.
I talk about boundaries and expectations. Never thought of it. And I'm like, wow. Must have been my family, but geez, you know, when I was of a certain age at 13 and girls started becoming very interesting, my dad talked about boundaries and expectations. Because at a certain age, one shouldn't do certain things until a certain age.
Yeah.
And you should talk to the object of the woman of your desires and dreams and expectations, because you might not be on her short list.
Yeah,
So,
to
and then
kinda
that transfers to work, translates to family, volunteering, and I just found it to be a very useful set of terms because it makes it easier for everybody to get along if we talk about it
That's good.
and articulate it. So, thank you. Later, Gators. Thanks for watching.